everyone, this is Gary from the Seer's Cave, and I thought while I had the camera set up, I would just do a little video on the subject of trusting yourself. This is something that I'm sure we're all familiar with. We have this sort of doubt in ourselves. We don't either trust ourselves, or we don't believe our own thoughts and our own feelings sometimes. And I think certainly as a pagan, I think this is something that is very, very true, that a lot of people have these niggling doubts about, you know, what you feel, what you think, what you sense, and you don't really sort of trust it, you know. I mean, it's like, for example, how many times have you got up in the morning, you've had somewhere to go, you've known, you've checked the weather forecast on the TV or the internet or whatever it was, and it said, oh, brilliant sunshine all day. And, but something in the back of your mind has niggled you, and you've thought, you know what, I'll take a Mac, I'll take an umbrella, I'll stick it in my purse, or, well, my handbag, or if you're a guy, I'll stick it in my suitcase. I'll take it with me, just in case. And lo and behold, it's got to 2 in the afternoon, and the heavens have opened up, and it's absolutely thrown it down. That's a classic example. Now, the doubt will creep in, where you'll do that. You get up in the morning, and something in your gut will say, take a brolly, take a rain mac, and you don't do it, and you get soaked wet through, and you think, I thought of that, why didn't I go with it? There's loads of instances like this, and I'm sure you guys can come up with loads of other examples. In fact, in the comments section on this video, I would love to hear your stories of similar instances where you've not got on a train because you've had a bad feeling and the train's been 2 hours late, or you've not got on a particular flight for whatever reason, and you find that it's been diverted 300 miles out of its way, or similar kinds of things. I'm sure there must be loads of instances of things like that happening, but equally there will be instances where you haven't trusted it and you've ended up delayed, or you've ended up redirected to a different airport, or you've ended up soaking wet through, or some sort of similar kinds of things. Trusting yourself is really, really important. It's important in general, but especially as a light worker, especially as a pagan, especially if you do any form of divination, be it tarot cards, be it runes, be it ogham, be it witch runes, whatever it is, it can be Greek tesserae, and you have to trust your instincts, and you have to trust your intuition. And there's lots of ways of really kind of supercharging your intuition, because a lot of people, they sort of say, well, yeah, but how do you actually start working with your intuition? And that was one of the very first questions that I asked when I wanted to develop along this path. How do I trust my own intuition? How do I actually, for a start, get in touch with it? And I'm sure you've all heard this before, but the classic answer to that, in a way, is meditation. What does meditation do? It quietens your mind down. It puts you in a place where you are calmer, where you are quieter, and where you can hear more clearly that little voice that's in there that I believe we all have. And you can really hear that and pay attention to it. Now, how you meditate is entirely up to you. There are lots and lots of different ways of doing it. There are sitting meditations that you can do, which are in some ways the kind of um, classic, if such a thing exists, kind of classic meditations. There are moving meditations that you can do. There are positional meditations that you can do. Yoga, for example, is something which has a great reputation for being able to center you and calm you and quieten you down. And you know, yoga positions are designed for specific sort of things. Now, we don't all have, in a sense, the bodies for yoga. I know I certainly don't. But there are other things you can do. There is Tai Chi, which is a kind of moving meditation. You're calming yourself, you're quietening yourself while you're doing the exercises, while you're doing the movements, while you are controlling your breathing. I have some experience with martial arts, and I always found, although not Chinese martial arts, in my case Korean martial arts, but I always found the forms, we call them tul, the forms and the movement and the concentration of being in that moment, I always found very beneficial and very calming. And I do think that that is, to a large extent, the point with Tai Chi and with moving meditation, is that kind of calmness. The form that I practice now is a kind of sitting meditation, where I simply sit myself down, place both feet flat on the ground, and I start focusing on my breathing. Now, I am a trained singer, and I breathe from my diaphragm naturally. That is how I do it. If you don't breathe from your diaphragm naturally, you might want to try that. Basically, imagine for a moment that your lungs aren't up here in your chest, they're in your stomach. So as you breathe in, you're, in a sense, pushing your stomach out, like a balloon expanding with air. And it goes into there. What you'll notice when you breathe from your diaphragm is your shoulders don't tense up. If you breathe into your chest, a lot of times when people go, the shoulders go up. So breathing from your diaphragm, you find your shoulders stay where they are, and you expand and contract your stomach, in a sense. What you're doing is you're using the diaphragm, which is like a V-shaped muscle at the bottom of your lungs. What you will find with diaphragmatic breathing is that you breathe a lot slower, which in itself, from a calming point of view, is very useful. For example, when I'm meditating, I count in my head my breaths, and I count how long it takes to go in and how long it takes to go out. And when I'm getting really, really deep and really calm, that can be a count of 8, it can be a count of 10, it can even go as far as a count of sort of 12. Slow, kind of 1, 2, 3, very, very slow counting for 12. Then you hold for 2 or 3 counts, and then you let it out equally slowly. It's really good for calming you down, and once you're in that place of calm, then it's easier to hear that intuition. You will hear it at other times as well. There will be times when it bangs on your mental door and refuses to let you ignore it. So trust it. Trust yourself. Become more reliant on yourself as a conduit for knowledge, rather than always relying on being told things. It's a classic in the modern world we live in. We live in a technology age. We live in an age where anything we don't know we can find out instantly. But what that does is it takes away our own ability, in my view. It takes away our own ability to judge and to discover and to glean information ourselves. Because if we feel something, or we believe something, or we sense something or we know something, and then suddenly we read, somewhere on the internet or whatever, that something that completely contradicts our own thoughts. Our natural reaction is to discount what we believe and discount what we feel. And I don't think we should do that, you know? Now, as anybody who watches my channel will know, I'm a big fan of crystals. I love having crystals around me. I love wearing them as much as I possibly can. At the moment, I'm wearing two different crystals here. I have a moonstone and I have a tiger's eye. And I want to just talk very, very briefly about these two crystals and two others. I'm going to show you a moonstone which I have, which I'm going to try to angle to the light. There it is. Now you'll notice this is actually, I've been very fortunate, this is actually a sort of a crescent moon shape. Moonstone is a fantastic stone for ramping up your intuition. I have two which I want to very briefly talk about. Moonstone is one of them. The other one is, you'll recognize this instantly, amethyst. Both of these are fantastic stones for ramping up your intuition, for helping you with your connection to the divine. They are both fantastic stones for that. So I would strongly recommend, if you don't already have them, get a moonstone or an amethyst or both and start wearing them, or having them in your pocket, having them in your purse, or your, or just on your person. These sort of cages, if you can see that, these sort of cages are wonderful because you can change stones. And if you have a particular feeling one day, you may be feeling a little bit drained, or you're feeling a little bit stuck, or whatever, you can put the relevant stone into them and they're fabulous. Now, trusting yourself also requires two other things. It requires for you to have a more optimistic point of view, a more optimistic and positive attitude. And a fantastic stone for that, if I can get this onto the camera, is tiger's eye. Tiger's eye is yellow, and it's a stone that I tend to associate with the solar plexus chakra. The solar plexus chakra is where you will get your gut feelings from anyway. So that is a great location for trusting your instinct of your gut. In essence, three of the stones I've chosen for you today relate to chakras that relate to intuition. Your solar plexus and your gut instinct. Your third eye and your kind of knowing and your sight. That's amethyst. And the third one is rose quartz, heart chakra, because you'll be familiar with the phrase knowing something in your heart, and that again is a feeling, is an intuition that rarely will serve you wrong. Plus, rose quartz is a fantastic stone for self-esteem, and part of that trusting yourself process, to my way of thinking, is self-esteem, self-love. Sometimes we even find it difficult to say the words self-love, because we're so used to being down on ourselves. We're so used to being miserable and being put on and just sucking it up and taking it. So what I'm hoping from watching this little video is that you'll start to think about not accepting that any longer. Be kinder to yourself, be more positive about yourself. We all have things about ourselves we don't like, myself included. The list is, well, you get the idea. But at the end of the day, you have to really try to be kinder to yourself, be more positive about yourself, love yourself, and trust your feelings and your insights and your intuition. And you really won't go far wrong as far as I'm concerned. And I think you will find as well that you have a much, much happier time of it. And you really do feel better as well. Try it. At the end of the day, what have you got to lose? Hopefully, the very thing you will lose is all of that negativity and all of that doubt and that darkness that we do sometimes become surrounded by. I hope you found this video of use. I hope you found it interesting, and give it a go. And let me know what your own feelings are. Let me know what your own experiences are. If you wear these stones on a regular basis, tiger's eye, amethyst, rose quartz, moonstone, let me know how you feel when you wear them and how you feel when you don't wear them. At the end of the day, we're all learning, and we can all learn from each other. I know that. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of your day, whatever you do. Be kind to yourself and to others around you. And I want to wish you lots of love, light, blessings, and truth.